Welcome back. Today I want to share with you how I've organized our homeschool space for the 2023-2024 school year. All right, so this is our desk area. We have our bookshelf and some drawers. By the back door is where each child has their own basket with their name on it. And surprise, surprise, if you've been following me, you know I only have 3 kids, but, well, I have 4 now. Well, not 4 of my own. I'm going to be homeschooling my worship leader's son at my church, and that's going to be pretty cool. He's a kindergartner. My son is a 2nd grader. And then I have my 4.5-year-old daughter and my 2-year-old daughter. I think my son's gonna really enjoy having a little buddy. What's new this year that I'm excited about is this visual schedule. But basically I chopped up just regular copy paper, 4 pieces of paper into thirds. And that gave me 12 little pieces of paper. And then I had my kids just put on some music and they watercolored all these pieces of paper, and so each of them ended up doing like 3 or 4, and so I put their initials at the bottom after they dried, and so I could know which ones they did if I cared to remember the future. For each child I have a little chart, and so we can take it off and put it on their desk each day, and as they do things they can check it off. And my hope is to have them take initiative and kind of do these things without me giving them like reminders, but honestly, like, I'm okay with that. Like, they're still all pretty young, so I'm definitely still leading most things, and obviously then I can step away and let them have some independence within that framework. And then this is the little boy that will be joining us. I'm super excited, and because he's a kindergartner, you can see how I differentiated his to have more breaks in between. And who knows, because we're going to be homeschooling together, maybe we'll just all take more breaks, you know, short breaks, like, okay, we do this subject, go jump on the trampoline, we do this subject, Jack Hartman video, get our wiggles out, or maybe set the timer and play for 5 or 10 minutes. We'll see how it goes. And then this is my preschooler's responsibility chart. And so I'll probably put hers in a page protector so I don't have to print her a new one every week. But I think the boys, I will print a new one every week so it can like go in their portfolio and make them actually not accidentally erase it or kind of get lazy with it. Like when you're actually checking it with a pen or a pencil and like having to get a new one, I don't know. I feel like it'll become something we actually do, like a calendar. And then each child has their own little basket. I got these adorable little metal-ish baskets from the Dollar Tree. I got the letters for their name from Hobby Lobby. I just thought it's a great way to have these supplies look really cute. And so of course, you know, what do you have? Crayons and pencils and things that I don't want them to just be readily going at. Maybe my son could like have the scissors and glue in his, but because I have a 2-year-old, I keep scissors and glue with all my craft stuff, but I might hide a few spare ones back here in our community supply basket for me to grab real quick, and that will save my sanity from accidents, which are gonna happen anyway, but you know. So that's the supply baskets. That's how we're organizing our supplies this year. I was just having everybody's in a group supply thing in the middle because it's just my son really, and my little 4-year-old daughter would chime in sometimes, and maybe my 1-year-old last year, but really now everybody's, even my 2-year-old's really gonna be wanting to color more and do stuff. So I thought that would be a great new system. Hopefully this will remind my daughter to do her little plant responsibility of watering the plants over here. And then our bookshelf, of course, I try to just put all the history books we're actually using for our history and our science units on this shelf this year rather than in the baby's room, so that if she's napping, I have it out here and I can grab what is next from our units. And then, you know, other things are organized the same as my video. My friend had these Instacarted to me for my birthday back in June. That was super awesome. Thank you, girl. All right, and then our little flowers aren't doing so good. My daughter, she decided to prune those and chop like all the leaves off like back in like, I don't know, May. And so we had to have a lesson about why leaves are so important, part of photosynthesis. JK, I kind of explained it, but she's 4.5. So we learned we don't prune everything off, but it's coming back. It's gonna come back. We'll have some cute little roses, hopefully. It's always fun to display some favorite nature treasures. This is cool. Like, we had a monarch butterfly in here that was just a random one that my mom bought this for me, and it had one that we had no connection with the butterfly. And I was able to open this up because the butterfly was all crunched up, and put this butterfly that I found and have had in my keepsake box in another container. I found this in 2006 and it's 2023. So I'm like, this butterfly has been around a long time. I found it in front of the dorm rooms when I was in college. The little rubber animals came from Hobby Lobby. They came in various little sets, and they're a pretty good deal compared to the bigger tubes. And then the bigger animals came from Michael's, and they make great center pieces for the table. I had a glass like bowl on a stand, and I used to like put a little scene and have them sitting in it, but that broke. So now they're just in our homeschool room. And they make great homeschool helpers. If somebody's not focusing, you can be like,
"Hey, get back to work. All right, now what's the answer?"
Some magnetic letters, which I can put on the board over here, which is magnetic, or a little magnetic dry erase board under there or on the side there. So for word building, especially for my 4.5-year-old, this drawer is kind of a catch-all for just random supplies that I know I don't want in our closet that I may actually access. And we have little science-y things in here, like for our microscope and a ruler and geoboard. And then, yeah, dry erase boards and clipboards. Scrap paper. Anytime I have a misprint, I just shove the papers in here. And then when they do all their little random drawings, they can just do it on there. Unless it's something important that I want it, you know, not to be on scrap paper. Puzzles to do with my 2-year-old. And then little ABC books. Anything that I want to make sure I rotate in for her. And then more advanced puzzles for my 4-year-old. And some other little activities like threading and other things underneath there, like games, some other little phonics type games for my daughter. Ones that I'm not sure if I'll use, but before I get rid of them, I put them where I'll actually access them and maybe use them. Anything I'm definitely using for part of their curriculum, like core materials, are in their basket. These baskets are a bit heavy, so I'll probably pull them down and set them in the desk area so that we can like go through each folder. So each child has color-coded folders, so each child will have blue for calendar, yellow for writing. My son will have spelling, not the other children, and red for reading. And then the science and history folders and him studying, some other ones are in the morning basket because they're more me during morning basket time. This is preschool, which I may do a video on what I'm doing for preschool for her. This is going to be kindergarten. And I also put his books that I leveled for him to use after doing a reading assessment. This is 2nd grade, and then my 2-year-old. I just try to put a lot of educational little board books, and then mainly for her, these are the activities I plan to use to keep her busy while I'm trying to homeschool the other kids. So it's kind of a Montessori approach where you grab one thing off the shelf or they can grab it and choose, and then you do the activity, clean it up, and then get the next one. And so hopefully she won't be climbing over me too much this year between coloring and doing these activities and books. Hopefully I can, keep her happy, busy, and educated at the same time as educating the other children. And it's going to be great. I love it. I'm excited. It'll feel like a little classroom. And I always had a dream of like having a little classroom in my house after I stopped teaching, but this will be perfect. Just one more kid. It'll be great. And this is our morning basket. I'm going to keep it in this room instead of our dining room because I think that I am going to simplify things this year. Instead of trying to read everything after or around breakfast time with morning basket, do morning responsibilities, actually do morning recreation, like maybe do a nature walk, or this thing called running club where we're gonna every time they run around my block, which I gotta drive around the block and see on my odometer like how far it is, and then see how many times around that block would be a mile, and then like give a tally, and however many tallies would equal a mile, and then like basically set a goal like, oh, by the end of the year, if we do this once or twice a week, we'll have a pizza party if we get to this many miles, kind of thing. Running club, like kind of like they do in the co-op PEs. Anyway, and so then after those would be morning baskets. So that's where I'm totally going to be able to transition, relax on the couch with them, take our time, and make morning basket a time for literature and also our history and science read alouds at that time as well. So this basket is kind of like another catch-all for reference books, like dictionaries, thesaurus, animal encyclopedia, things like that, and then some like grammar book resources, and this sheet that I actually projected a map image on and like traced it out. That could be used for like sorting by the continents with different picture cards of like animals, landforms, and landmarks, things of that nature. And in my kitchen, you've probably seen this if you saw my video about my mom binder that's right here. This is my recipes. This is a great way to organize those office type supplies. And honestly, I feel like as a stay-at-home mom, like we're in a kitchen so much. So when I need a pair of scissors or a dry erase marker that's extra, obviously I'll keep one dry erase marker and certain things in the homeschool room, but things I don't always need in there, here it is. And these are my supplies. And they're organized and they're here, ready to go. The only thing I didn't really show you is our closet. I showed that in our last homeschool room tour if you're interested. That's where I store the extras like arts and crafts supplies and just like other educational supplies for science or math or reading, and board games and puzzles and things of that nature in my son's double closet. Thank God for that. I do love that the folder system. That's like a really big aha for me. I used to try to really be into consolidating like binders and having everything in one place, but I found that having a folder for each component of our day or subject, it's kind of like, okay, open this up. It's just simple. Do this. Okay, now put that folder behind, get the next folder. It just makes it more organized and feel more simple. Then at the end of the year, this is a huge aha for me, or at least we're gonna see if it is. My tentative plan is that everything that's happening, in the folder is now just gonna literally like undo the prongs in the folder and put some tabs in a portfolio and just take everything that was in the folder and transition it into the portfolio, because in the past it's either I was sort of organized enough that I was taking papers and sticking it in the portfolio as we went, or last year I tried a different strategy and I just had a bin for each child and I just kept putting the papers in a bin about this big, and at the end of the year it was a bit more work to have to sort through and organize that, but it works. And then my daughter Grace, like I still have to go through her bin and decide, am I going to keep all this stuff or not? I feel like the folder system might eliminate some of that, at least to a degree, and we will see how that goes.